Donald Trump's own Frankenstein monster is suddenly turning on him. Her name is Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's been one of MAGA's loudest soldiers, and she has basically said to Donald Trump and his White House, shove it, over none other than the Jeffrey Epstein files. Now, in an interview, Marjorie Taylor Greene says the Trump team warned her. The Trump team warned her that if she supports this bipartisan effort to release more of the Epstein files, the really juicy ones, that it would be seen as a, quote, very hostile act. That is how authoritarians talk. Nice little house you got here. Would be a shame if anything were to happen to it. What did Marjorie Taylor Greene do? She called the White House aide back and said, I don't work for you. I work for my district. And that is MTG speak for go pound sand or whatever. Now, what is maybe most interesting about this is that Marjorie Taylor Greene really has been one of Donald Trump's most loyal foot soldiers for a very long time. She and Trump are, in a sense, cut from the same cloth. But all of a sudden, Marjorie Taylor Greene has signed on to this bipartisan discharge petition. Nancy Mace has signed it. Lauren Boebert has signed it. Thomas Massie, of all people, has signed it. And so the goal here is let's force a vote to demand that the DOJ release really all of the Epstein documents. She's even threatening to read out the names of alleged accomplices on the House floor if she gets them. Now, I don't want to confuse you here. David, is Marjorie Taylor Greene all of a sudden a hero? Is she a good person? Is she a political ally? No. And my instinct is all of you recognize that. This is sort of like a broken clock moment. Even a stopped clock gets the time right twice a day. This happens to be one of those times. But it is surreal that the woman who once blamed wildfires on Jewish space lasers, although she says someone else posted that to my Facebook page, it wasn't me. She is now pushing harder than most of Congress for the Epstein documents. And sometimes the world is that upside down. I see this as a classic the enemy of my enemy type situation. Nobody on the left should see Marjorie Taylor Greene as some kind of newfound ally. She's not all of a sudden in favor of accountability generally. She's realizing Trump's team doesn't own her. And if that puts her at odds with the MAGA White House, so be it. The rebellion is useful, but it is not shared values. It's just a common strategy. And I want to also be really clear about the motives here. Marjorie Taylor Greene didn't all of a sudden wake up with a conscience and go, the Trump White House doesn't own me. I do what I want. This is about attention. This is about leverage. And this might even be, and I don't know if Marjorie Taylor Greene thinks this long term, but maybe this is even about her positioning herself for the post-Trump future. She lives for the cameras. She wants to be seen as the MAGA figure willing to draw blood. And so she's going to be out here, not because she's risking her career for the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein. She wants relevance. And the bigger picture is really undeniable here. Trump has built his brand on the idea that loyalty is everything. You threaten, you bribe, you dangle White House invitations. He uses those tools like an authoritarian to keep people in line. And one of his loudest allies is saying, I'm ignoring the threats. And in fact, I'm throwing them back in your face. And so when Marjorie Taylor Greene says, you don't own me, it could mean that there is a slice of MAGA. This is now not a slice of the Republican Party. This could be a slice of MAGA that is breaking. It's not just on Epstein. Marjorie Taylor Greene has broken with Trump on Iran. She's broken with Trump on Ukraine. She's broken with Trump on AI, even to some degree on Gaza. That is not a small departure. That's like ripping up the MAGA script on live TV. So that's where we are. The president who once thought he could ride the conspiracy train forever into the sunset is now getting bucked off by the very creature he helped to create. And if Marjorie Taylor Greene, who, by the way, she's never met a camera she didn't like, if Marjorie Taylor Greene is not afraid of Donald Trump, you have to imagine there are other MAGAs ready to flip. None of this makes her an ally to the left. None of this makes her a progressive. She's still the same hard right conspiracy theorist that she's always been. She's opposed to everything from reproductive rights to climate action. But she has found a way. She's found a different battlefield inside the same extremist movement. And Trump can only see this as a betrayal. Donald Trump has already packed his second-term cabinet with loyalists. He's threatened deportation as political punishment. He's expanded executive authority in ways we have not seen in modern history. These are real changes that are happening right now. And what's even more alarming is that a lot of the media is either glossing over the worst of it or they're reframing it so it all sounds a little more palatable. And that is why I use Ground News. This is a news comparison tool. Doesn't just feed you headlines. It shows you here's how different outlets, left, right, center, are covering the same story. And this is one of the few tools I know of that can really help you detect the political spin, the bias, catch stories that your usual sources might downplay or not cover at all, on everything from immigration policy to economic shifts. If you want to get a bigger picture, a broader picture of what's being reported, Ground News is an invaluable source to keep you informed. And Ground News is offering my audience 40% off their top tier Vantage plan. You'll only pay $5 a month. Go to ground.news/Pakman or enter the code Pakman in the app to get started. The link is in the description.